have the goal of Raganuga Bhakti. Say, all you people in ISKCON, all you're doing is just pious activities, Sukriti, and maybe a little Vaidhi Bhakti, maybe. Sometimes they say we're not even doing any Vaidhi Bhakti. You're not going to come to Raganuga Bhakti unless you come to us because you don't know the process for Raganuga Bhakti. It's not given. Say, Prabhupada didn't give you the process for Raganuga Bhakti. And we've had many instances of people in ISKCON who think, okay, I have to look someplace for this process of Raganuga Bhakti. All that Prabhupada's given is the process of Vaidhi Bhakti. So right here in this purport, my dear friends, Srila Prabhupada is giving us the process of Raganuga Sadhana. So if anybody ever says to you that Srila Prabhupada didn't give us the process for Raganuga Sadhana, you can just refer to this verse, and if you can't remember which one it is, you remember it's the long one that was hard to have a reader for. And it's 10:9:3. This verse. And there's other places also, but here it's crystal clear. What is the process of Raganuga Sadhana? So now we're going to look at how, in one sense, even our Vaidhi Sadhana is from the beginning Raganuga Sadhana, and how we progress from Vaidhi Sadhana to Raganuga Sadhana, those of us who aspire to enter into Vrindavan. So I'm going to read a bunch of things. I hope you don't mind. Because I think this is important. Is this important?
Yeah.
Yes. You should understand these things. By the way, I don't personally like, this is just me personally, I don't personally like taking the tack that we in ISKCON are right and everyone else is wrong. So I don't like people doing that to us, and I don't like doing that to anybody else. That's, if I don't wish to speak in such a way that anyone imbibes that mood. I think our mood should be let Krishna decide who's right and wrong and let him deal with it. We should just follow our own teachers and chant Hare Krishna. That's my own conclusion after many years. Otherwise, one of the symptoms of the neophytes is that they quarrel over different doctrines and rituals. And in some parts of the world, people even shoot each other over doctrines and rituals. So please let's not go there. At least I don't want to go there. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. It doesn't sound like that's a good kind of sadhana to take you to Goloka Vrindavan. We don't find that that's included in the process of sadhana. It's not one of the 64 items of devotional service. Criticize all the other Vaishnavas. Just to say that. Actually, that's the first forest fire that Krishna swallows by the bank of the Yamuna after Kali Nag is sent out of Vrindavan. That forest fire is fighting between Vaishnavas. So best to just follow Rupa Goswami's suggestion, respect people from a distance if they're following a different thing or saying a different thing, or if they're critical of our particular teacher. If somebody else wants to be critical, let them be critical, but let me not be. So we want to speak the truth without a mood of being critical. One should be totally free from the propensity to criticize others. So we can be rah-rah for our own university without wanting to burn down the other universities. And so we're looking at text 8 of Upadeshamrita. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka, Vrindavan, Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So this is what we're focusing on. One should follow in the footsteps. That's what Prabhupada is talking about in this purport. If you want to love Krishna as a mother, then you follow in the footsteps of Mother Yasoda. And you do specifically what? Meditate on this description. Her form and her activities. Meditate on her form and her activities. Okay, so in this purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes another one of Rupa Goswami's books, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He quotes 12294 and 12295. 12294 is Krishna Smaran Janam Chasya Presta Nija Samihitam Tat Tat Kata Ratas Chasu Kuryad vasam vraje sada. A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Raja and always engage in Krishnam smaranam janam tasya prestam, the remembrance of Sri Krishna and his beloved associates. By following in their footsteps, the same thing Prabhupada is saying here in this purport, by following in their footsteps of such associates and by entering under their eternal guidance, one can acquire. So remember, sadhana is a practice, how you get something. So one can acquire. Here also in this purport, Prabhupada is giving what is the process of Raganuga Bhakti. But in this purport, 10.9.3, it's very specific. So in this purport in Nectar of Instruction, it's more general. Follow in their footsteps. What does that mean, follow in their footsteps? How do we follow in their footsteps? In this purport, Prabhupada is giving very specific. One can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Again, Rupa Goswami says in the next text, 12295, Seva, now this is, please listen carefully to this Sanskrit. Seva sadhaka rupena. Seva sadhaka rupena. Seva means service. Sadhaka rupena. The form of the practitioner. Siddha rupena chatrahi. What does that mean? Siddha rupena. Perfect. Chatra. Also. Tadbhava lipsuna karya raja loka's the people. Raja lokanusarata. In the transcendental realm of Raja, Rajadam, one should serve the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates, and one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. So guidance of a particular associate, if one wants to have motherly affection for Krishna, then you put yourself under the guidance of Krishna. If you want to have fatherly affection for Krishna, you put yourself under the guidance of and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practices executed while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sajja, God realization, when one is a siddha purusha, or a spiritually perfect soul. This particular quote from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Prabhupada is talking about in his purports, shows that the complaint of the first group, that Prabhupada is preaching that Vaidhi Bhakti is something totally different from Raganuga Bhakti, and at a certain stage of Vaidhi Bhakti becomes Raganuga Bhakti, is not entirely correct. There are many places where Srila Prabhupada does say you perform Vaidhi Bhakti, which then gradually becomes Raganuga Bhakti. But you see here in this purport, Prabhupada is talking about immature Raganuga Bhakti and mature Raganuga Bhakti. Now, immature Raganuga Bhakti can be called Vaidhi Bhakti. Just like immature bhakti can be called
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga. Immature bhakti yoga can be called yoga ladder, Bhagavad Gita, yoga ladder, karma yoga, or jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga. If you stop there, if you stop at karma yoga, and for those of you who are new, I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a technical class, and I noticed some of you are new, and I tried to adjust a little bit. Probably some of this is just going, sorry. If you stop at the platform of karma yoga, then you're called a karma yogi. However, if you're performing immature bhakti yoga, you can be called a karma yogi also. So if you're performing immature Raganuga Bhakti, you can be said that you're performing Vaidhi Bhakti. Your goal is Raganuga Bhakti, but you're performing it in an immature stage.